Hello, YouTubers. Today I'm going to talk about the WWE brand split and what I think they should do as far as booking, what I think they should do as far as the actual brand split. And, you know, yeah, take it or leave it, whatever it is. It's my opinion. The thing about it is I think the brand split's not a bad idea. I think brand split works. The only problem I have is the WWE itself isn't very good at brand splitting. Because what they normally do, the bigger problem of it is they have people from every show go to every show, and that kind of screws them out of being two separate brands. If they truly separate the brands and have SmackDown be its own thing and Raw be its own thing, it'll be fine. Now, I thought of another big issue that I have with the entire thing, and that's Monday and Tuesday nights, back-to-back, 5 hours of wrestling, 5 hours between those 2 days. Why not separate it out and go back? Well, I mean, I know it's probably a decision by USA or WWE where they want them back to back. I'd say it's USA. They probably wanted some shares on Tuesday night. They probably didn't get the views. That's why they moved SmackDown to Tuesday nights. However, let's get to the main thing of what I want to talk about. What they ought to do, there was rumors, I don't know whether it's confirmed or not, but they were talking about 24 freaking pay-per-views a year. 24! That's 2 freaking pay-per-views a month. Why? Why in the name of all that is holy in wrestling would you do that? First of all, the problem I've had recently with the WWE, with the writing of the WWE, the most recent problem I've had with it is the fact that by the time you're watching a pay-per-view, you're in the middle of a pay-per-view, they're already pitching the next pay-per-view. And I'm like, this one isn't even done yet. Why are you even pitching the next one? Too many pay-per-views, too cluttered. Stop. I have a solution for your problems. 12 pay-per-views in a year. 1 a month. That's it. 1 a month. 4 big ones. The 4 big ones stay the way they are. Well, actually, the schedule changes. The schedule changes around a little bit. You start out in January with the Royal Rumble. February is the Raw pay-per-view. March, SmackDown pay-per-view. April, WrestleMania. The 4 big ones, which would be Royal Rumble, and you just alternate month to month, whether it's, you know, you do a Raw pay-per-view, a SmackDown pay-per-view, and then the big pay-per-view. The big pay-per-view, obviously, is the joint venture between all of them. You do, you know, Raw, SmackDown, big pay-per-view. Raw, SmackDown, big pay-per-view. You keep Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, you keep SummerSlam, and you can keep, if you keep the brand separate and you make them a separate branding issue, you can keep Survivor Series, because Raw versus SmackDown with two to three big Survivor Series matches would be awesome. Money in the Bank is a very important match. I don't want to see it go anywhere, but I think there could be a Money in the Bank for Raw and a Money in the Bank for SmackDown. And not only have Money in the Bank for the big belt, for the World Championship belt, but why not do Money in the Bank for all the belts? For, you know, the Cruiserweight, they said they're going to bring it back. Why not do a Cruiserweight Money in the Bank? Why not do a Women's Money in the Bank? Why not do a Intercontinental or US? All the belts should have a Money in the Bank contract. That way you get 5, 6 extra Money in the Bank matches every pay-per-view, or every Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Makes sense. It should work. But the bigger part of it is you give your wrestlers and your staffs, your writing team, your production team, basically you reduce your house shows down. You do 1 main show a week and then 1 house show a week. That's 2 days. You can do 3 days. 3 days, like 2 house shows and 1 major, or the taping is good. That's fine, because that still gives your guys 4 days to get to places, to rest, to get caught back up on what they got to get caught up on. You know, and at max, they'll be wrestling 4 times whenever it comes up to the pay-per-view. 4 times in a week. That's still not bad, but I would say do 2 shows a week. That way, they'll be wrestling 9 times in a month. Not a big deal. It gives everybody a chance to break. And if you split up the pay-per-views like that, the main important thing about the pay-per-views going like that is rest. Your stories can be better because you can build a long-term story. You can't do that if only thing you're doing is pitching the next pay-per-view at your next SmackDown or your next Raw. If you're pitching that next pay-per-view, you're hurting yourself. If you address that, you'd be a lot better off. The bigger problem is I have reservations about what they're going to do. I don't think they're going to do the brand split completely correct. And I'm pretty positive they're going to screw it up. I hope not, but I'm afraid that's exactly where they're going to go with it. I want it to succeed. I don't care about necessarily who's on what program. That's not really that big of a deal. That's not the most important thing to me right now. To me is getting the writing down, getting the long-term stories started back up, and making giving the guys time and breaks, because let's be honest, the biggest thing that's hurt the WWE in the last year and a half, actually the last couple years, injuries. Everybody's been wrestling way too much. Their bodies haven't been able to heal. They have hurt themselves. And it makes for bad wrestling because you cannot depend on the superstars because you've been killing them. I hope that the brand does good. The brand split does good. I would have moved SmackDown further in the week. I would have left it on Thursdays, but networks has got their reasoning, so it's fine. But I think keep it separate. If you do, you'll be a lot better off. If not, you're going to go right back into merging them in a year later from now, and it's just going to be a big old conglomerated mess. Hopefully it's a long term, because Vince usually thinks long term, and I think it's going to stay long term. So until next time, watch a little bit of wrestling. I'm sure I'm going to have another post here in the next couple days about this stuff. So until next time, watch a little wrestling, play some games, enjoy yourself.